Welcome to the Stree Shakti series at the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is the Credit Crusader, Aparna Ramachandra on financial wellness and empowerment. A trailblazing financial advisor, columnist, and the founder director of RectifyCredit.com, India's first credit advocacy and advisory platform. With over 20 years of experience in financial counseling, banking, and risk management, Aparna has helped countless individuals repair their credit health and build financially disciplined lives. An author, ultra marathoner, polyglot mentor, she has successfully blended financial wisdom with personal growth. Today, she'll share insights on financial empowerment, the emotional side of money, and how credit scores tell more than just numbers. And we also come to know Aparna as a person. So, welcome, Aparna, today's Coffee Conversation episode. And it will be a lovely conversation to knowing about the CIBIL score, the credit score, and how it affects the lives of the common man.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes. So let me explain you. There'll be three rounds: professional, personal, and a rapid fire round where you will be in the hot seat and you have to be witty, fun, quick, and years inspiration, niche
Okay.
marketing, which will be
Okay.
autographed and sent to you. So let's begin. Friend, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host of Coffee Corner Legal and a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So my first question, Aparna, how has the journey shaped up and what were the key defining moments you had?
The journey has been extremely interesting, and I still get to work as excited I was on the day one. So there was no like one defining moment that decided that, I should start this. But I used to be living abroad. So one of those annual NRI holidays, I read about the credit bureaus and the SICRA Act and the first credit bureau, CIBIL, and all of that. So I knew that this is something that I want to come back with. So this will be my comeback story. And as luck would have it, that very year, no, a year later, Economic Times had this first Power of Ideas business contest. So that's where we participated, and then the rest is history.
Beautiful. So, Aparna, let's dive deep in conversation. My first one is interesting, and you have to. It's about a misconception. What are the most common misconception people have about the credit scores, and how do you break it for them?
The most commonly asked question for people who come to us is, after 7 years, does this get erased? Unfortunately, earlier in the US, FICO scores used to do that. So people thought the same thing applies here because people tend to Google. And so I always tell them that this is not like a sade sati that, it gets over. So what happens on your credit report stays with you forever. So that's one of the most common misconceptions. So whoever is going to be watching us, this is another platform for me to clarify that any loan that you take, any card that you take, any inquiry that you make for requesting any of these products is going to be part of your credit report, your credit story throughout.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, on to let's focus on this ye CIBIL credit score. In India, there is besides CIBIL, are there any other credit scoring agency? I'm now my first question will be, then I'll go into.
There are four credit bureaus. So what has happened is how photocopy became Xerox, credits report has become CIBIL report. But we have CIBIL, we have CRIF Highmark, there is Experian, and there is Equifax. So all four of them are recognized. I mean, they are there in India. So the banks can submit their data to any two bureaus, and each of the bureau gives you a credit score, and every credit score of the bureau can be different from the other bureau because of their internal algorithms.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, okay, There have been cases like this credit card companies call up and ask, okay, by we're offering this card, that card, and they go and check your credit CIBIL score, and funnily they will reject your application. So is that that's my first question, or you're going for loans or anything, and you're clearing the loans, but bank doesn't update. So how does the CIBIL score get affected?
It's credit score. It is not CIBIL
Sorry,
score.
sorry,
Okay.
credit. Sorry,
Yeah,
credit.
credit score. So, number two, when somebody calls you offering for a credit card, in the first place, don't say yes unless you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because each time these guys do a credit check on you and they reject your application, like you mentioned, it is going to adversely impact your overall credit profile. So say yes only when you know, right? So any Tom, Dick, and Harry who's calling you, offering you a credit card, don't say yes. Number two, the second part of your question, when you take a loan, see, a loan is always a responsibility, right? So, till the entire tenure of your loan, you are supposed to A, pay on time, make sure there are no delays, defaults during the loan tenure, and your responsibility, according to me, is bigger when you complete the loan tenure because you have to ensure that it gets closed properly so that by making sure you pay the last penny, collect the closure letter, and make sure that this gets updated with the credit bureau in a month's time. So ideally, say for example, you've closed your loan on the 15th of August. In a week's time, you should get your NOC. So after that, in a month's time, you should yourself check your credit report to ensure that this loan is closed. Because what happens is a lot of people assume that I have paid the last EMI, so the rest is bank's duty. So it is bank's duty, but it is also your responsibility because एंड में आप ही का बैंड बजता है, बैंक का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. So it is better that you complete that story, tie all the loose ends, and make sure that the story is completed. Then these sort of issues won't happen. Because what happens when you are at it, when it is all fresh, you will remember, you will have the documents and all of that. 5 years later, 7 years later, it is very difficult to go back. And then anybody can give you whatever story. And when you don't have documentary evidence, then you have to buy their stories, right? So it's better to avoid
Mhm.
all that.
Yeah. So thank you for that, because there have been cases like I've been hearing banks, a credit card company offer you EMI and you have paid all your EMIs, but still that account is active. You get your statements and all those. So how does it get affected in spite of following with the credit card companies and they are not closing that EMI account?
No, no, it is your duty to get it closed and follow up till it is closed. Once it is closed, then none of this will happen.
Wow. So, Aparna, you call credit reports a financial mirror. Can you elaborate on what they reveal beyond just numbers?
Credit report, according to me, is your real Kundali. So it tells you the entire story. So the credit report typically talks about all your loans, all your credit cards, and all the last three addresses that you've stayed in or lived in or you've submitted to the bank. And each time you make an application for a fresh card or a loan, that is also recorded. So all of this is part of your credit report. What the credit report does not include is your savings account, your investments, your insurance. That is not part of the credit report. So it's only the debt side of the story that the credit report carries. But it reveals a lot more about the person than what you and I would have generally otherwise observed. So it tells you a lot more about the individual's personality when you really dig deep into the credit report.
Wow. Thank you for that. So, Aparna, how do you approach financial counseling for individuals who are emotionally overwhelmed by debt?
The first thing first is you have to I always tell people that there are always options available. There's never a dead end, right? As individuals, we always have options. Till the time that it is time for us to die, then we don't have an option. Till then, there are always options available. So I always first tell them that, let's explore. So, and then see, mistakes do happen. Sometimes circumstances are beyond our control. See, everybody who's messed up their credit profile is not someone that has gone shopping with their credit card irresponsibly. There are genuine cases. Sometimes, there are health issues, someone has lost a job, there is a sudden death in the house. So, people tend to borrow, so which is all right. So, there is no need to get judgmental about it. So, I always tell people that it's okay. And when we are dealing with human beings, sometimes 2 plus 2 is not 4. So, one needs to work around.
Wow. So as you said, there are options. So can you
Yes.
elaborate, what are those options
It
to build,
depends. It for each
change your credit?
individual, the options is different, right? Because what applies to you doesn't apply to me,
Wow.
right?
So
So
can you
you
take in
may
a
want
hypothetical
someone,
case? Can you take in a
yeah, like there
hypothetical
are
case
people
and
sometimes.
share for our viewers out there, please?
There are sometimes people who come who believe that, they have nothing left, that nothing can be done. So, but then, when you dig around, you figure out there are some savings available. Sometimes there are people who've not approached their friends and family out of fear or out of inhibition. So sometimes, talking about it honestly with your family always brings out some solutions. Nobody at home really wants you to be thrown out on the street, right? So, these are things that you discuss, figure out. So, a financial counseling, a debt counseling takes a lot more involvement. It is not like a one size fits all. So, why I have landed in a debt may be a very, very different reason from why you would have landed in a debt.
Beautiful. So Aparna, according to what are the top three habits you believe can transform one's financial health?
Discipline, discipline, discipline.
Okay. So how does one bring discipline?
It is your responsibility. Because see, everybody knows that, one has to wake up in the morning, go for a walk or do some kind of exercise, not eat, junk, don't eat sugar. But we still do it, right? We all do it. But then when the visit to the doctor and the reports are all read, then wahi insan apne aap, he starts getting up at 5:30 and going for that walk, right? So why wait till someone marifies you a danda? Do it yourself. So, that sense of responsibility has to come from within.
Beautiful. Okay. So Aparna, you often work with people at their most vulnerable financial stages. How do you build trust and ensure lasting change?
People who come to us are usually people who come with lot of faith and expectation, because
Yes.
they know that we are their last resort. Because the
Mm.
lenders in the market on the high street have rejected them. Nobody else is willing to give them any loan, right? So this is one category. The other category is where they are looking for their job appraisals to be done, and their credit profile is badly hit. So they come to us with lot of faith and expectation. So it is our responsibility to deliver that. And most of our, I mean, I have in the last 15 years, I think less than 10 cases where they have come back with a messed up credit report again. Otherwise, through the journey, whatever counseling, whatever education that has been shared has been accepted well. So the person has not come back again saying, I have again messed up my credit report.
Wow, that's beautiful. Good work you're doing through Rectify Credit, and the name is also apt Rectify Credit.
Thank you.
So I'm very fortunate to having this conversation because this episode will be a memorable one. Okay, people, as you said, कि there are, भले depth ले लिया, but there are options to come out
Yeah,
and live a fully, ये क्या बोलते हैं, financial healthy life
absolutely,
according to
absolutely,
बालाजी की blessings सबके ऊपर है. So
absolutely,
we don't have to
absolutely.
परेशान नहीं हो जाना है.
नहीं 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 and there are always solutions. See, they may not be a quick fix, they may not be that कल सुबह उठ के सब ठीक होगा. So you also didn't gain that weight overnight, right? You took time, so you will also take time to lose that weight. So it's similar. So you've messed up, but there is always a solution. I firmly believe in that.
Beautiful. So as a columnist and author, how do you balance writing for awareness with providing actionable financial solutions?
For me, it comes very naturally because that's what I do on a daily basis. So there is no like an extra effort that I need to put.
Wow. Okay. So according to you, what role do you believe financial literacy plays in empowering uh, women specifically?
This is a very good question. In India, unfortunately, financial literacy has been very restrictive. People think financial literacy is buying an insurance policy or taking a SIP and then having one LIC policy, some gold and FD, and they think that they are financially well off or they are financially literate. But the problem is financial literacy is not just this. I have been actually last few years championing this cause, that this whole investor education, financial literacy, all of this need to talk about debt. If the person is not debt literate, then the person can get into real deep trouble. For out of ignorance, people land up into trouble.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is very important that, and not just women, even men. So we need, in fact, globally and in India, women are better borrowers because they make sure that they repay. If you see
Yes.
the sex ratio in the defaulters, men are way above than women, right? So
Yes.
so in the debt literacy, it's the men that need to be trained, because the number is increasing now. 15 years ago, when I started Rectify Credit, I would find people with two defaults, three defaults on their credit report, but they would be approaching us because they're looking to buy a home. So home loan is what they would be looking for. But today, in the younger generation, I see a whole list of loans which are all unsecured loans. So they are only personal loans from here, there, and everywhere, and with no investments, no savings. So so there is a whole generation out there that needs to be educated as to, just because you have a mobile and that mobile you can download an app and that app can give you money, you need not take that money. Number one. Number two,
Yep.
if you've taken that money, then it is your responsibility to pay back.
Hmm. Yep.
And borrow only when you know you can repay. Otherwise, don't borrow.
Very true. Wow. So let's go memory down the lane. What's been the most memorable uh, case where someone had come for debt and working on their reversing their credit score?
Long time ago, I remember the guy came. He was a young kid. I mean, he was hardly in his early 20s. And he had repaid the loan that his father had taken. But then he was a co-borrower. But the bank had not updated it. So he was looking to buy a three-wheeler auto rickshaw because he was an auto rickshaw driver. And उसको वो ऑटो लोन नहीं मिल रहा था. So then I figured out and got that loan updated and made sure he got that auto loan. And later on, he sent me a pic where behind his auto he had written my name. So
Wow.
So that is a story that I always remember with gratitude because I could make a change in somebody's life. And secondly, will always be the first customer who signed up with Rectify Credit. So as I mentioned earlier, we had this Power of Ideas contest. So part of that, we had, we started Rectify Credit, and the website had to be taken live. And we went live at around 1 in the night. And early in the morning, in the well, like in around 10:30 in the morning, I got a call from a customer in Pune, and he says, "I saw your website, and I want you to help me. And how much will you charge?" And I was like stumped by that question because we had still not thought about it. And mind
Yes.
you, Amir, Tabi, there was no other benchmark. We were the
Yeah.
first. So
Wow.
we didn't even know how much would a customer be okay to pay. Number two, we also didn't know how much legwork we had to do because that was our first case. So these will be always two memorable, situations.
Incidents. Wow. So, upon any experience, how has the financial behavior of Indian households evolved in the past decade?
Like I was telling you earlier, 15 years ago, typically even 30 to 40 age group that came was they came because they were looking for a home loan. So earlier, I'm talking about the late 90s and early 200, where Indians were not aware about credit card responsibility. So a lot of people did only minimum payment, or sometimes people, when they were issued a card, they just cut the card and threw it in the bin. But then they thought that the story was over, but they didn't know that they had to close that credit card. So annual fees you kept getting charged, and people then realized and all of that. So that is, and there was also a lot of discomfort in coming out and saying that I have defaulted on a credit card.
Hmm.
Cut to today, I have people who come saying that, here, take this report. That I have defaults on about 15 places. See what you can do to sort me out. So this has been a tremendous change in the borrower profile. The
Wow.
inhibition regarding default or going bad with your debt is suddenly becoming very acceptable. It is very
Hmm.
okay with. So, and I think the big reason for that is today debt is very easily available. In today's times, still, if you go to a bank for a personal loan, the process is quite tedious.
Yeah.
And it is not very easy to get a personal loan. Compared to that, all these mobile apps, you are just sitting in your office, you just need to say yes, no, and share your OTP, and next thing you know, the money is there. So that easy availability has also brought in created a lot of mess.
Yes. Wow. So, it's very strange and ये easy access of money is spoiling the person, creating mess for the family, so many things. Apna. Because he's not used to spending so much.
Correct.
And suddenly, easy access to money,
Correct.
then lifestyle, so many things, and uh, going into doing wrong things, so many things happen.
Correct.
डेप्थ तो होता ही है, बट
Correct.
इंटरम पीरियड में लाइफ का 360 डिग्रीज चेंज हो जाता है एंड देन
Correct.
फैमिली अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करेगी बाय व्हाट्स हैपनिंग. सो दिस ऑल अपना लाइक अभी गवर्नमेंट ने ये ऑनलाइन गेमिंग बैन,
Correct.
so they should also consider for the easy access of money through mobile
Yes.
apps.
Yes.
Uh, there has to be अपना ये legislation, what do you say, uh, checks and balances.
Yes. Yes.
But there is no a government intervention.
No, there's no regulation there. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it's like cryptocurrency. People are investing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Probably there is no regulations, but it's still thriving.
Absolutely.
So I've done a couple of on crypto. That's why I come to know, okay, why there is no laws. So touch your true coffee, learning, creating awareness, so many things. अपना
Good.
ये है. Okay. So now, Aparna, as a member of the Maharashtra Handloom Council, how do you see finance and cultural initiatives intersecting?
It's an everyday challenge. It's an everyday challenge because handloom survival has also become a huge deal. And similarly, this whole financial awareness, education, literacy. So it's a difficult situation. And in both cases, the responsibility is yours.
Okay. So AI is everywhere, Aparna. How is AI impacting financial service sector?
Um, I am not sure about the investments and the insurance sector, but as far as we are concerned, the debt side of the story, uh, what I do is still the last mile is always human intervention.
Yeah.
So a lot of work that we do is also automated, a large
Mhm.
part, but the last mile, the human intervention is needed. So because when we are talking about counseling, when we are talking about, giving you solutions, and when I said, like I said, there is no one size fits all. So I don't have a formula and an Excel sheet that I can, upload on Chat GPT. Then it is different. So AI for me is still not a viable solution.
Very true. So my last question for our professional journey round, Aparna, what advice would you give to young women entering the world of financial services?
First thing is, please join. Don't let your inhibitions hold you. And a lot of us are told that women are not good with numbers, and we somewhere buy that theory, but that is not true. And we actually are more responsible when it comes to debt, when it comes to investments, when it comes to planning, because for a family the woman is always the one who plans, right? So I think we need more women in the financial space.
Beautiful. So let's go to next round and understand Aparna as a person. Tell us about a family and your formative years.
I have grown up in multiple places, different schools, because my dad kept changing his jobs. So I started out from Karnataka, then moved to Orissa, then in Chennai, and then Bhutan, and then a small town near Goa, and then Bombay. And I also did a year in Belgium as a youth exchangee through UNICEF. So I widely traveled around Europe then. And subsequently, I went on to live in London for about 4 or 5 years where I was working. So all of this, because I'm grateful to my father because he believed that, exposure is the best education. And I'm grateful that he gave me that exposure, and the world was my canvas. So it has been a very enriching life so far, if I look back.
Wow. So, as you have lived in multiple different cities, what's your favorite city to travel for leisure and what would you enjoy doing there?
For me, actually, if you ask me, Italy and Holland are my two favorite countries. Italy for its food and walks, and Holland for the culture. I love the people there. And both the places, I think good coffee and long walks are my everlasting joys.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Aparna, you're a polyglot. Which language do you love speaking the most and why?
I speak about 14 languages.
Wow.
But if you ask me my most favorite, it would always be my mother tongue, Kannada, for the richness of the language. The literature is very rich, and I relate to it the most. Though I am comfortable in other languages, but if you ask me the favorite, then it would be Kannada.
Wow. So, Aparna, what sparked your love for ultra marathons? And we would like to know, ki bhai, what is an ultra marathon and what's your most memorable race?
I actually took to running very late in life. I started running when the year I turned 40 because I just decided that I want to do something which I had never done till I was 40. So running was what came to my mind. And without any thought, I just went and signed up for the half marathon, which is 21 plus kilometers, Mumbai Marathon. And then obviously I had to train and I completed. And I'm still not a very what do I say, very competitive and very itne mein itna hi khatam karna hai. I go to run because for me it is like a meditation. So after the first 2-3 kilometers, when all the rush gets over in a marathon, when you continue, it is you with your own breath, and which I find very beautiful.
Wow.
So runs are always my favorite. But if you ask me between run and cycling, my first love will always be cycling. And ultra marathons, I just happen to jump from one run to the other, whatever came, because I just wanted to, go around places and also get to run. And my favorite ultra marathon, if I have to answer that question, would be when I ran Pune to Mumbai with another 23 women. And we ran this 168 kilometers over 2.5 days. And that has been a very memorable experience.
Wow, beautiful.
It taught me so much about myself that I knew what my limits were and how much I could still stretch. And that was beautiful.
Wow. So, Aparna, how do you unwind after an intense day of counseling client sessions?
For me, it's always a good cup of coffee and a long walk.
Wow.
That does the magic.
So, which book has influenced your life the most?
I have enjoyed a lot of Swami Rama's books, but the most favorite of all the books, otherwise also, is the psychology of the Bhagavad Gita. So that is something that I go back to even now because uh, if you read that book, each time there is a fresh perspective. And that is something that I really like.
Wow. So, what's a family tradition you deeply cherish?
I think my parents gave us the freedom to experiment and live life. Let us be. So the freedom to experiment, whether it was while growing up, whether it was our clothes or new places to eat or travel, or you wanted to do something, or I think if I look back, that has been the most uh, unique or something very special that my parents gave us.
Wow. So, what are your plans for 2025? Now, few months are remaining, personally and professionally.
Professionally, I would like to reach out to people in the armed forces because the women there, the families there, when they get into debt and there is a martyr, then the whole dynamics change. So the families get affected very badly. So I am trying, and I will still not give up, but I am trying to reach out to the armed forces to see how I can be of help to them. So that is my professional goal for 2025. And the personal goal this year is I want to be ready to run the half marathon again next year. 3 years ago, I met with a very major accident. So my ankle was badly damaged. So I couldn't run for the last 2 years, though I have been cycling. So this year, that is what I want to train, be ready for the Mumbai Marathon in Jan 2026.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, what legacy would like to leave behind?
I think if somebody were to remember me later, I should be remembered as someone who always gave hope.
Mhm. Wow, beautiful. Okay, since this is Sri Shakti series, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
Stree is already Shakti. So there is no Stree Shakti, right? So we are already Shakti. So we personify, we embody, we do क्या बोलते हैं? We are Shakti, right? So it is only that somewhere we wait for an outsider to tell us how powerful we are. We fail to recognize our own internal strength. If each woman were to figure out her own internal strength, then men are no competition to us.
Beautiful. Okay. My last one is a googly one. Describe Aparna in one line.
Uh, I think I'm a dreamer with conviction.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go to next round and put you in the hot seat, Aparna. Uh, Credit score, friend or foe?
A friend.
Your go-to comfort food,
Coffee.
early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Marathon training tougher than managing finances?
No, it's easier.
Ah. Your favorite food dish from Karnataka?
It has to be the Jawar Bhakri.
Wow. One financial myth you wish to erase forever.
That if you have been good with your savings, then everything else is taken care.
Wow. Your favorite motivational quote.
There's always a tomorrow.
Your favorite color.
I love the color red.
Wow. One word to describe your financial philosophy.
Use your common sense.
Wow. Mumbai monsoons or mountain treks.
Mumbai monsoons when I do the mountain treks.
Last one. Tea or coffee to recharge.
Always coffee.
Yeah, you're the coffee show. So you did well, Aparna, and here's your
Thank,
gift, which will be autographed and sent to you.
thank you.
So as we wrap up today's conversation with Aparna, we are reminded that financial wellness is not just about numbers. It's about empowerment, awareness, and building a disciplined life. Aparna's journey shows how credit can transform from a source of stress into a tool for resilience and growth. Her story inspires us to take control of our financial narratives, to break myths around credit, and to recognize that true empowerment comes when knowledge meets action. So thank you, Aparna, for sharing your wisdom, your experience. May your insights continue to guide us in building financially healthy, confident, and empowered lives. So subscribe to the Coffee Conversation Show, where there are 500 plus coffee speakers sharing their professional, personal journey. You get inspired by them, and we continue a conversation or a cup of coffee tomorrow. And there will be another interesting person
Thank
sharing
you.
their journey. Thank you, Aparna.
Thank you.